listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Eureka After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Eureka After Show.
I will buy you all the beers.
Done.
Hello, everyone. Bing is for music. Good. Okay.
Well timed.
This is just for you.
Nice. I'm going to move this away because I'm
Okay.
wicked loud.
I'm wicked loud. That was kind of amazing.
Thanks.
Thanks for the music. It follows Colin everywhere he goes. That's what you guys don't know. Hello, everyone. Bing is for doing, and we are doing the penultimate Eureka podcast. Penultimate. It's the one before the finale. Are we sad?
A little sad.
It's called Thank you. I'm sad. It's called Double Take, and it's kind of Invasion of the Body Snatchery. I am Roth Cornet, and guess who I'm here with? Suck it, Colin Ferguson.
Why do I have to suck it?
He's the most handsome man in the room right now.
I'd go, yes. I would agree with that statement. It's not a big compliment, but you know what? I'll take it.
We love Colin so much. Listen to this, you guys. Jenna, who usually does the show with me, had an emergency appendectomy on Friday, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I was actually with her and spoke to the surgeon, so I'm pretty sure it's true. And she is still recuperating right now. And how awesome is Colin? You can love him even more than you already do.
I love this. I got to follow me all
right?
the time.
It's
yeah.
accompanied by sound effects because he agreed to come and hang out with me so I wouldn't flounder.
Well, how do you say no, though?
I know.
Like, how do somebody says, oh, I have an emergency appendectomy. Would you come in? Like, no? No, you can't say that.
Well, how do you say no? I mean, I'm sure the possibility of me sitting here for 45 minutes and talking is just so frightening, too.
I would have loved to see you do that. That would have been, yeah. See, just sit here all by yourself for 45 minutes, just talking, chatting away, singing at some point.
Jenna did that at some
point.
Did she really did.
How'd that go?
It was not good for her. It was pretty good for me, not great for her. I thought it was hilarious.
That's right.
So let's talk about Double Take, because I feel like every time you're here, the 2 times that you've been here, we talk about you playing evil you, and here we are again.
I played creepy me for the episode last night.
How is that for you?
I like it. It's a nice change of pace. I mean, because the guy, he's a likable guy most of the time. So to sort of play a different flavor is really fun. Feels like, you're wearing the same clothes, but you got to do something different.
Which version is closer to who you really are?
Wow, depends on if you dated me or not.
Okay, well, I didn't date you, so I'm gonna say the nice guy.
Yay! No, it's all aspect of yourself. You just try to do. You access sort of the dark parts of yourself, and you sort of. When you're being likable, you go through the scene sort of trying to make what's the right thing to do? What's the kind thing to do? What's the, generous thing to do? And when you're being evil, you use the same compass, but you're sort of going, what's the nasty thing to do? What's the selfish thing to do? What's the arrogant thing to do?
What's the most horrible? But the thing is, he has kind of I don't know. I mean, he has a pretty clear point of view. He thinks he's doing the right thing.
Absolutely. I'm saving them from themselves.
Yeah.
I need that when I'm playing a bad guy. I need to know exactly why they're doing what they're doing, because it's a basic concept, but they think they're doing the right thing. There's a logic and a rationale to what they're doing.
Is it fun to listen, you guys, the tone of the show changes when they do kind of the horror-y episodes, which I've dug a little bit. They did a few of them this season, and this one is total full-on Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, this was supposed to be our giant cliffhanger. This was supposed to be, back when they conceived the arc for the season, this was going to be the big dun-dun-dun.
Right, what's going to happen.
Yeah. And now, because the show's over, we have one more episode next week to sort of conclude everything.
Tell me about what's going to happen then.
Oh, wow. There's this giant explosion and we're all
Okay.
killed. Yeah.
That's a really tragic way.
Yeah,
to
it's
end the
bold.
show.
It's bold.
And then it just goes to black, one frame of black, like
Yeah.
The Sopranos.
And then a test signal for
Yeah.
45 minutes.
And that sounds
That's
absolutely
it.
amazing.
It's just a 15-minute episode. We saved so much money. No, what's going to happen is you find out what the future of the town's going to be. They're dismantling it.
Yeah.
Did that air? I'm assuming it did.
Yeah, no, it did.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, God.
Holy,
Colin,
that was rough.
you're dismantling Eureka.
Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with that next week, and what's going to happen to everybody, and what's going to happen to the community that's been established.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm going to pause for a second to talk
Why?
about I don't know. It just felt to me like
Nice. It was a brilliant
good
segue. I was with you the
place to
whole way.
pause.
What's going to happen? It's like a
What's gonna
roller coaster
happen?
being interviewed by you.
Yeah, thank you. It is. You guys, I am just so everyone who's watching knows, I am like half out of my mind trying to prepare for Comic-Con.
Oh, we've been talking about
So-
Comic-Con before it started.
We were already talking about it. I'm convincing Colin to go so you can stalk him there.
Yeah, I'm going to the Geek and Sundry stuff on Friday, and Roth's trying to get me to go to certain parties over the course of the weekend.
Which, why wouldn't I do that?
Absolutely.
Frankly. So you guys can follow us on iTunes, and by follow I mean subscribe, and go ahead and leave us. We love those comments. By the way, we read them all, Jenna and I do. So please go ahead and leave a nice comment. You can leave a comment for Colin, and we'll pass it along to him when I see him at the parties at
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
they'll text me the hate mail as you send it in. It'll be great to get on my phone.
Well, we had actually I got tweeted a couple of questions for you, which we'll
All
get
right.
to momentarily. But first, go ahead, iTunes. There's also, if you have an iPhone, I don't, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but I am under the impression that Siri is representing the singularity and definitely the impending robot apocalypse. So
That's not paranoid at all.
I am not a fan.
I think that's a good thing to do.
I'm pretty
Do you
sure.
have a lot of cans in your basement? Some guns?
Many cans.
All right.
And several guns. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure she is the precursor to Skynet.
Sure, she's a Cylon.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. But for many people, she's an enjoyable friend who helps them find
Well,
pizza and chocolate.
I see John Malkovich in that chair by the window in the rain, and he's having lots of fun with Siri. I saw that commercial.
He does enjoy Siri.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you went to Being John Malkovich for a second, the movie. I don't know
Oh.
why I thought that you were referencing that, but you weren't.
No.
So anyway, so there is an app on the iPhone. I've heard that iPhones have this thing called apps, and there's a podcast app that you can go ahead and download, and then
Oh, is that how you subscribe? If you're an iPod, iPad, iPhone?
well, you certainly can, Colin. And then at that point, it makes it so easy for you to listen to our enjoyable podcast in your car or while jogging or what have you.
Wow. Via AirPlay.
Well, probably not on the airplane. Can you? Yeah, I
No,
guess if you're in
AirPlay.
airplane mode. Oh,
AirPlay.
via AirPlay. Yes.
You know, in 2012, there's all these things that happen, which are really amazing.
Oh, good. All right, so back to the show.
Sure.
You know what I actually really liked watching was the little creepy
Oh, the daughter?
the Genobot.
Yes.
How creepy was the Genobot?
She's creepy.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that fun for you? They always say don't work with kids or animals. What's your experience?
Don't work with
You
kids.
work-
Yeah, don't. Nope, don't do it. They're right. Anyone who contradicts them is wrong. Because the shot invariably becomes about sort of getting that one take that's usable.
Yeah.
That girl was great. She liked doing it and all that stuff. But my favorite baby on the set was Aaliyah. She played when I came down the stairs with the baby.
Yeah, the
and,
baby, yeah.
Aaliyah did that. And she speaks 3 languages. She's amazing.
How do you mean she speaks 3 languages?
You can talk to her in French, Spanish, or English.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think there's a 4th, but I don't know it.
How old is she? She's what, 4 years old?
I think she was 3.
And she speaks 3 languages?
Yeah. So the cool thing was, she's really she was sort of freaked out and didn't want to be there. And she was sitting with me one day, and I brought over like an iPhone.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, you know the camera that your mom takes, and I sort of pointing out like those are cameras, same as this. So we're performing for that. And she was clocking it all, sort of going, okay. And then she got what we were doing. And so we said, yeah, we're going to do it, and then we're going to do it again. And she's like, oh, okay. And she'd go back to when she knew exactly what we were doing. And then we gave her a line, the hi, mommy thing.
Yeah.
When she came to the bottom of the
Yeah.
stairs, we were at the top of the stairs. I said, when we get to the bottom of the stairs, you look over and you say, hi, mom. She's like, okay. So we got to the bottom, and she did it.
Wow.
Yeah, she was amazing.
That is amazing. I mean, that surely. So, what does she did she listen to Baby Mozart all day long and then?
She's actually 45 years old. Yeah, is what it is. It's
That's kind of incredible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but well, it was maybe not so fun for you to have all of the children, but I did think that the little evil robot Jenna was effective for the show. So
Yes.
I'm glad that you sucked it up and
Thanks.
did your job.
Thanks. It's not often I do my job, so it's good when I do.
Do you have a favorite director that you've worked with on the show?
Oh yeah, I mean we have lots of favorite directors. I mean that was Matt Hastings who
yeah.
directed that one. He directs the big ones, the premiere, the finale, and maybe one in the middle. And he's our director producer, so he's great because we have a shorthand. And when Matt and I are running and gunning, we can go really really quickly. He gets tons of coverage and knows exactly what he wants, and that's easy. And anyone else from the inside works, like Alexandra, who did Smarter Carter this year.
Right.
She's our script supervisor, and because she's on set with us all day long, there's just a familiarity and a shorthand. When Sally directs, when Joe directs, when I direct,
that must be when it's
I'm amazing.
really, really the most amazing.
Yeah, it's
is
like
when
we've all been
you
touched by the
direct.
spirit. It's amazing. Yeah.
So Carter kind of wants to bail. He's done with this. He wants to leave. He's over Eureka.
There's talk. I mean, we don't know what the conclusion is going to be, but yeah, he's definitely, he sees that it's coming to an end, and he just wants to do the right thing. He doesn't want to stay there and sort of back into a life there. If he's going to stay there, he wants to stay there because he decided to stay there, and not because it's sort of, wow, 20 years went by and I never thought about leaving.
Okay, that's an interesting take on it. So, how do you like that?
Come on, throw me another question.
Colin has thoughts, you guys. Yeah. I will throw you another question because, as those of you who have been watching Jenna and I this season, we have gone to basically talking about the idea. Well, this episode really reflected it because we've been talking about what makes you you and what makes a person sort of a person. And Eureka kind of addresses that in a lot of different ways. It had the mirrors, it had the NPCs.
The NPCs, the body printing that we did, and then downloading the Z-Wave based personalities.
Yeah, all of it. So I put that to you, Colin. Because I put Jenna on the spot one night. I literally put her on the hot seat, and I said, what is humanity? Define it. At what point are you no longer a human? Because that ethical question came up at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think it's, we dealt with it when we brought on Andy, the robot. And I think, if I'm to be honest, I would think that, it takes very little because we have so many failures of human beings out there in the world today. We do. I mean, if you want to call it what it is, there's some horrible people out there, and they go through life just making horrible decisions, and they're human. And they're not helping us very much. So if we're going to consider them humans, then, why not consider a biological life form that has sort of an AI head? I mean, that seems to be, why shouldn't we give that the same rights that we give our own species that aren't behaving well?
Because that's when they kill us. So, but no, in all seriousness, I mean, that's sort of Jenna's take too. She feels like the moment you have that you're self-aware and you have consciousness, and that's how she sort of defines life and what it is. So then those NPCs, once they're in those robotic bodies, they have consciousness, they're aware of themselves.
Yeah.
But they're running on a program. My whole thing is that the minute that you are running on a program that is ordained, by somebody else, by an outside force, and you're not autonomous, that's kind of the difference.
But programs do their own thing. I mean, we're finding that nowadays, even with special effects, where they do a program. I mean, there was that story from Lord of the Rings where they had the program where all the whatever NPCs were supposed to fight each other in the background. And then other groups started fighting that weren't supposed to be fighting, and sort of like, the ghost in the machine.
Right,
didn't think that was going to happen. And that's sort of life.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think the more complex the program, I think it's completely acceptable to say that they're human.
Okay, good. Well, let's move on to another one.
Let's stay on this.
Okay, we can
No,
stay.
I'm just kidding.
We stayed on this the whole time one night.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
It was so awesome. You totally should have been there, only if you brought scotch.
Well, I wonder what the line would be, though, with that. Like no, not with the scotch, but there's no line with scotch.
No line.
I don't know. I don't know when it would start, but I don't think you want to keep, a species down until they prove themselves to be worthy of rights. I think that's a dangerous road.
Oh, sure. I absolutely agree with you. But here's the thing. We already do. I mean, certainly animals don't don't have rights, and we don't
True.
treat them necessarily with much dignity and a lot.
But they're delicious.
But they are delicious. I mean, listen, I can't say too much.
Cows sweat gravy.
They
Come on.
absolutely.
That's supposed to be
sweat
eaten.
gravy. And pigs poop bacon. They
Do
poop-
they?
Yeah, chocolate
Is that
covered
where bacon
bacon.
comes from?
Yes.
Wow.
They poop chocolate
That's
covered
not
bacon.
chocolate-covered bacon.
I'm pretty sure it is, Colin. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but we already really tread that line
Sure.
in our world right now without robots
Yep.
in the equation, but they're welcome in the equation if they would like to be there. The other thing that is sort of at the end of the episode as well is the idea that this is inherently kind of a dangerous place. And that was something we talked a lot about with Deborah when she was here in terms of Beverly. And does that organization kind of have the right idea to some degree that there should be oversight over a place that has the ability to create this kind of weaponry and wreak this kind of destruction?
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
they do on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, if I was in charge, absolutely, I would either dismantle the town or I would make sure that it had a different set of rules to run by. I mean, fantastic for entertainment once a week, who's getting who, but you know, as far as something that could be allowed to live in our society, they almost destroy the planet so
Yeah.
often. That can't be allowed to happen.
That's not okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. The town has a sheriff. They'll be fine. You know.
And it's you.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You're all that stands between us and the abyss.
We're going to hit the abyss. That's what you should know then.
So every week we talk about, Jenna talks about her drunk purchases on Amazon. So I don't buy things though, and that's the problem. So
You don't?
No, I really don't. I don't buy anything. I buy books and I buy movies. And
I'm doing
that's
home reno. I'm buying everything online.
Well, I'm saying I don't buy anything anywhere. Like that's the online, or I just don't buy things.
That's just not true.
It's true.
It's not true.
I buy
You don't buy
coffee.
anything. You buy food.
Beverages.
Okay.
Food and beverages. That's pretty much what I buy. Gas.
Right.
You know, but I'm not going to get that through Amazon. But you know what? I will get my media through Amazon. I get books through Amazon, and I get downloads, and I watch Downton Abbey on Amazon and things like that. So,
Well, do you go through the AfterBuzz site whenever you buy anything?
wow, that is kind of amazing. I feel like we have such a rapport.
Because you know,
We're so
if you go through the
simpatico.
AfterBuzz site, you support programs like this and allow interviews like this to happen.
Wow. That is really interesting. How would I do that, Colin?
Well, what you do is you go to AfterBuzzTV.com.
Yes.
And you then click over to the Amazon. I believe there's a tab.
Yes.
And then that takes you to Amazon. And by doing that simple click, by going through one site to the other, you channel funds toward programs like this.
Wow. I should do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've done the show once before.
Now I'm going to sit back and I'm going to let Colin run the rest of the program because he does it so much better than I do, unfortunately, for all of you listening and watching. Let's talk about Parrish. Who's your favorite character besides yourself?
Parrish. Oh, Parrish.
Yeah.
I heard Parrish. I was like, Parrish. I got you. Who's my favorite character, or do you want to talk about Parrish?
I want to talk about both. First, answer first, and then we'll move on.
Done. My favorite character is probably, well, there's been a bunch. I like Dave Foley's character. I like Wally Shawn's character. I like Fargo.
Fargo likes you.
Yeah, Neilio's pretty good. He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
And
He's been here a couple times, and he's been awesome.
has he?
Yeah.
He's pretty quick. Yeah. And Parrish. All right. Then we end on Parrish. What a good segue.
What a great segue. Well, that's Jenna's favorite. That's why I kind of tied those
What?
questions together.
Parrish is her favorite?
I believe it is.
You know, she's not here. We can leave her out of this.
We can leave her out of it
Yeah.
entirely.
She'll be back talking about her, me, my appendectomy. Oh, look at my scar. Yeah, demand to see the scar, by the way. That's the comment you should leave. I want to see the scar.
There's 3 scars.
3 scars? Why?
Yeah, because it was laparoscopic. I'm just going to tell all our business. How's that? It was laparoscopic, so they make 3 small incisions instead of 1 big one.
Okay.
Yeah, that way they can see more of what's going on in the abdomen. I talked to the surgeon before and after.
You did. That's amazing.
I had to wrestle her iPhone away from her. It was in
Really?
the OR. It was insane. She was trying to make a pitch for why she should be able to keep. I swear to God, why she should be able to keep the iPhone. And then she was exchanging business cards with the with the emergency room doctor.
That's impressive.
As we were walking to the OR, I'm like, this is amazing.
So she got his number, though. Bam, chicka, wow, wow.
He got hers.
Yeah.
He got hers. I believe he already
Fantastic.
contacted her. I am in. Really, don't ever tell me anything.
That's awesome. I hope he's listening to the show right now. What's up, Doc? Give her a call. Call her. She's waiting.
No, he did already.
He called her already?
He went
Go
next.
ahead. Dump more of her private life on the table. Are they going out? Does she like him? This is great. What's his name? What was his name? You were there. You know his name.
It was the middle of the. I was
You know his
distracted,
name?
but I swear to God, I don't. He was like Dr.
I'll give you a hint. Doctor.
Feel Good.
Whoa.
Dr. Feel Good is
Dr.
what I'm
Feelgood.
calling him from
Yeah.
now time. From now
He's
forever.
probably never given anyone his number. No.
Oh, I'm sure that's never happened before ever. He just happened to have the card at
Yeah.
the ready.
Jenna's awesome, though. Can I get your number? That's brilliant.
Exchanging cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. So yes, the appendectomy did happen, but you should still ask to see the scar. I agree.
Yeah. I think everybody should send in all their comments to the site asking about the date that they went on. I think that should be the driving force of all the comments.
No one should tell me anything. That's just it. Steven Soderbergh. You remember when Matt Damon came out and said that Steven Soderbergh was going to retire and yada yada yada.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? And then Soderbergh is like, Matt Damon is like a 14-year-old girl. You can't tell him anything. I'm worse than that. So like, if you don't want your business on the air, don't mention it. As far as I'm. So anyway, that brings us to
Parrish.
Yes.
What a great segue.
Interestingly enough, I do you watch the show and are you able to have some measure of like sort of objectivity, or are you just
Yeah.
sort of watching yourself and then pausing and rewinding and then watching yourself
Yeah.
again?
I just watch myself on slow motion and then fast forward through all the other bits angrily. Panicked a
Why
bit.
do they bother to write for these characters?
Exactly. Well, we shot it, coming up on a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
that episode. So, yeah, you get some serious distance. Right after you shoot it, you have none. But a year later, you can actually get a bit of perspective. And it's nice to see the good work that people do.
Yeah.
Like with that Zane and Parrish little...
I like that moment.
That
I
was
like
great.
that,
That was
yeah.
a great little comic cut that Jamie
Yeah.
put in there. The
Yeah.
whole, I can't believe it didn't work.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I good job, Jamie. Jamie sometimes watches us and he will
Really?
tweet in. I should.
Why didn't he come in?
He's been in.
Why didn't he come in again? I've been in.
I don't know. He has a family, Colin.
Wow, and I have no one. That's the answer to that. You have no one. So we called you first because we know you're not busy.
No,
All
we
right.
called you for obvious reasons. We want the people. Look, Jenna wasn't here. You already got to deal with this mess.
Exactly.
We want the people to be satisfied. So we
Roth
brought
isn't allowed
in.
to do the show alone. That's the phone call I got. You can't let her go on alone. You can't.
And now you know why. And now it's also obvious why. Moving along to
Parrish.
yes, I like those moments for him. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of didn't have any doubt about who the real one was though the whole time.
No.
Did you?
No.
Do you think we were meant to?
No, I don't think it was one of those things where I think we were more caught up in was Zane going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you knew Zane wasn't going to kill the wrong one. That would be a really weird.
That would be a very big turn that Eureka would make in terms of the tone of the show.
And there's no solve for that. There's
Yeah,
no,
no.
like, wow, you killed the wrong.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like Eureka, The Wire.
That's the tone we go for.
That's
for
the tone, like, for the
everyone's
finale.
wildly upset.
Exactly.
Oz.
All of a sudden,
It's just Oz.
It's Zane in jail, and Jason Priestley is there, and it's very bizarre.
Yeah.
It's no good for anyone. I did think, though, I'll tell you this, though, the person that I wasn't sure was when Felicia went all Matahari. Mm-hmm. I really wasn't. I wasn't certain until
Well
they
played.
were
Well played by the NPCs.
well played by the NPCs. I thought so too. Until they were sort of in the woods.
And then you knew.
Well, why are you? Well, then I wondered why Fargo didn't know. Like, why am I in the woods? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, let's go someplace quiet. It's only 12 miles away.
She hated shooting those scenes.
Why?
It was the most mossy, clumped, muddy ground, and she was in these sort of cute saddle shoes things that were not sort of going into the ground very
Yeah.
well. So she was constantly turning her ankle.
Oh,
As she was,
no.
because the scene where she wakes up and walks out with me, obviously we shoot those
Yeah.
one right out. You lay the track and you do them both back to back. And by the end of the second one, she's like, "Get me out of here! I can't keep twisting my ankle."
Did they? Oh, well, I liked what she did despite her displeasure. So what I'm learning tonight, you guys, is that the more unhappy, and I think that if there are any aspiring directors, you should really take this to heart. The more unhappy and uncomfortable you make an actor, the finer the performance you're going to get. So I think you should all really, really take that to heart and plan to just torment and torture, pinch their toes.
Well, there is something to having things to act off of.
Yeah.
You know, that was probably a later take, the one that we actually that aired
for Felicia.
Yeah, because when she got up, I offered her my hand. I was probably doing that because she twisted her ankle so many times, sort of walking through the thing. So and it was riveting. It was amazing.
So I've made a valid point, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, you have actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Every single aspiring director work that way.
Yeah, give resistance to things, give obstacles.
Well, yeah, well that's true. I mean, that's
in
now
a
he's
warm,
saying,
womb, supportive environment of trust and love, give obstacles and pain.
Yeah, I was saying things sort of ironically, but that's legitimate. You know, obviously you do need obstacles.
I brought it home.
You did. You brought it around to something legit. Explain to the people what an obstacle is for an actor.
An obstacle is something that you can work around because sort of the plot or anything in a scene is A to B. You start here at the beginning of the scene, you end there. So anything that can be in your way from going from A to B makes it a significantly more interesting journey and gives you a lot more to sort of show the character that you're playing off of. How they react to things, how they don't react to things.
Well, nicely done.
Excellent.
Dude,
Inside the actor studio.
I just fell in love with you a little bit. No. That was The More You Know.
Oh, was it?
NBC, that was The More You Know.
Wow.
With the rainbow. Because see, we're both
That's
learning
brilliant.
today.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not really learning because you're not teaching me much. But
I'm learning. I'm learning tons of stuff. I'm learning I'm never coming back. That's snap. Oh, just kidding. Jokes.
We only have the finale left. Boom.
There you go. I'll come back.
Yay, come back for the finale.
We
Because
should get a lot of people, though. We should get everybody.
well, that's what I was thinking. We should get a bunch of people and a lot of alcohol, and it'll be a party
That'd be fun.
here at the AfterBuzz studio for the Eureka finale.
Let's do that. Well, we can get Neil. We can get Niall. We can get... Well, maybe... Will Niall be back? I don't know if he'll be back.
I don't know either, but Neil will come probably.
Okay. We can get him. Jamie will come.
Jamie will come. You'll be here. It'll be great. We should probably get through this with some measure of clarity, though.
Yeah,
Tell
what-
me this. Go ahead.
Yes. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about this. So when you're doing the scenes with your double, I'm assuming you have an actor there.
Yes.
A double.
Well, a stunt double, yes.
A stunt double.
It's my stunt double.
Did you give him really mean nicknames and treat him rather cruelly?
I called him by his
given
Christian name, Heath. It was Heath who was fighting me in the room, and Fraser also did some stuff. So between the two of them,
Frasier?
yeah.
That's kind of
Fraser
interesting.
ripped his collarbone out on set one day. That was terrible.
On shooting this episode?
No, shooting an episode a couple episodes before.
Wow.
Yeah, he was doing a basic thing. He had this prop, and he just had to do a dive forward roll as this car screeched.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let me do that because the car is screeching, and
Yeah.
they're like, for insurance purposes, you're flat out not allowed. So, and Fraser's like, it's a dive forward roll, I'll be fine. So goes through this thing. The prop sort of gets caught under his collarbone as he goes into the tuck position and just pops his collarbone out. Yeah.
No. That poor Frasier.
Oh, Fraser was in pain. Yeah, that one hurt. He was back next week. We were using him again, but yeah, it's
a dangerous set on Eureka.
Oh, and it is, and sort of the like, it's inhuman because their job is that happens, and they go, I'm out, and then it's basically bring in the next one. We need the shot.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's you're sort of watching this one guy in a uniform walk away, and another guy come in, then he does the stunt that the other. It's harsh.
Now, tell me this: they're working with you? Is that are they acting? Are they giving you anything as an actor, or is it just kind of line readings?
No, they're wonderful. Actually, they were great and very concerned about it. I mean, obviously the stunt stuff they're teaching me as they go through. Oh, you're doing this. You probably want to do this. It's going to read better, and they're giving me all sorts of advice and walking me through everything like that. And then in addition to that, because what they've done is I'm working, all day long and everything, and while I'm working, they're working with the stunt coordinator and the director on in sort of areas, getting the whole sequence right. So they've plotted the whole thing out, the fights and whatnot, and they're the ones who sort of know it all. So they're then teaching me sort of right on the spur of the moment, and then I do it. And so in addition to all that, they've learned my lines, or our lines, really, and they're saying, like, do you want me to look at you when I do them? I'm trying to give you as much as I can, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful. For that they'd even be concerned about it is great. But the fact they were doing them well is even better.
Have they ever given you any ideas for your own performance?
All the time. Yeah. I mean, we all work together to work it out, and that's the great thing about being on a show sort of 6 seasons in is you all be looking at the stunt, be whatever it is, climbing a ladder, and you'll sort of go, well, what do you think? Well, and he'll because he's been climbing it all day, and I just get there. He goes, well, you'll find that like and this is a real thing. The rungs were huge because it looked really cool, really hard to climb. Really hard to get a grip on it because the rungs. So he says you're probably gonna have to go around this side to hold the thing, otherwise it's not really safe. And so you sort of spitball with each other. And he said, yeah, I was thinking about this, and because they've been watching the show, they then say, okay, and also because of how the character goes like this, I thought maybe this would be super cool. And then you go, oh, that's great, yeah, let's grab that, and then maybe we could do this, and you really build on each other.
Okay, great. Well, at that point, let's take a commercial break.
Wow.
Then we're going to talk about Henry.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man. No, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
People are saying, so listen to this. We
Shoot.
have Nicola Minogue on Twitter has said, from what she recalls of the last episode that you were here for, it's a good thing we're on opposite sides of the tables. I object.
No, we had a line. She's right. I'm backing her up. I got your back. I think it's Nicola.
Nicola, thank you. God.
I got your back, and I'm saying your name right. That's because I love you.
Man, I love you too, Nicola.
She doesn't.
I do
There was
too.
a line in between us. We were in the backseat of a car, in theory, if I remember correctly.
That's true.
Yep.
But I think it was working. I think it was hilarious because we had Mom guiding the show.
That's true. She was keeping us from hurting each other.
Matt Dunlop, who loves you, he's a huge fan of Eureka. He's asking how many sci-fi movie references did they use in this episode? I think that's really interesting. Like how many did you catch?
I watched it at the Paley Center yesterday with a big crowd.
Right.
So I'm assuming I caught them because the crowd would laugh. It'd be like, oh, there was the Star Wars reference.
Right.
Okay.
But there's always a lot of references.
There are. I don't know how many, or if it was if we upped it. I mean, it was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, sort of, so maybe that's a reference.
Well, I think that's the biggest reference.
The biggest one?
Well, thematically, it's basically the story of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That's true. That would be the biggest one.
So that would be the biggest one.
I'll give it to you. So what else was there? Were there any...
I mean, those were... Matt, go ahead and tweet and let me know which ones did you catch, because those I caught.
We steal from everything. We've taken them from everywhere. Any show that's ever aired, we stole from. Oh, yes, there was the reference. Felicia had a reference to with Fargo in the waterfall hallway. It's like the queen who was spitting out the blah, 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 blah.
Oh, alien. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Oh, you're right.
Three.
But Felicia too, she made one to Lord of the Rings. Because she said it's like that dream where you only speak Orcish and you know you're doing something wrong but you can't stop yourself. That dream.
Nice. No, well done. Have you ever had that dream? No. Yeah. Yeah, there were a bunch. Matt's on the money. On the money. What's another one? What's another question?
Another question was, do you still hate yourself?
Do I? Really? No. Although the hard bit about that, I was doing the fight with Heath, and my shoulder was separated at the time. And I didn't know that because I never had a separated shoulder. I didn't know what that was. But he swung like this, and I blocked it as per the thing. And it was like my bell got rung in a way that I can't, like it sort of hits here and just goes sort of all the way up your arm. And then it was like something's up. And then I sort of talked to the stunt guys, and they're like, oh, you probably got a separated shoulder. Let's roll.
And you just powered through?
Well, you don't have a choice. It's not like you can walk away. It's
right.
You do it again.
So what's the worst conditions that you have performed under?
I don't know. I mean, obviously in front of a wind tower, or, a bunch of giant fans because my hair doesn't move a lot. They need to make it look more like, it's raining and it's a storm. So not only are there fans that are probably 6 feet tall, like two of them, there's then a guy standing next to it with bags of debris that he sort of throws into the fan, and because they hit me in the face. And so the point is to hit me in the face because then I can react. That's my obstacle as an actor, right? So I don't enjoy that very much.
It sounds really fun to me.
It's really good. Everyone should be an actor. It's great.
But have
fun.
you ever had like food poisoning or anything where you were just sort of upchucking in between takes?
Yeah, I had this thing. I was doing More Tales of the City a long time ago, and there was this awful flu that was going around, and there was just a bucket, and you do the take and cut, and you'd throw up into the bucket and lie down until they said, all right, we fixed the lights, let's go again, and then you went again.
So what we're learning here, boys and girls, is that actors indeed earn their keep.
It's all glory. That's what we're learning. This is all lies. It's all glory.
Glamour and glory and people fetching you drinks.
Same series. More Tales of the City went down to Mexico and there was a hurricane, so the sewage was sort of everywhere and everybody got food poisoning. And so it was one night it was awful food poisoning, and the producer, she was carrying me naked to the shower every 2 hours because my temperature was like 105. And then this doctor comes in and just shoots me up with all sorts of stuff. And 7 a.m. I'm on set, in a bathing suit shooting a scene, sort of going like, oh, this is rough. All glory. But it's fun. I mean, it's sort of, you have teams of people taking care of you. Nothing's ever really going to go wrong. You're just going to get hurt.
You're just going to get really
hurt. Well, but you heal. We're people. You won't die. You rarely die.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's an awesome. How long have you had another job?
Have I ever had a job?
Well, no,
for sure,
I have a friend who he did this really little independent movie. Well, it didn't end up being
called Star Wars.
No, it didn't end up being.
My friend George Lucas.
My friend George Lucas, and he's totally my best friend. But I am so mad at him right now. No, actually, really, a friend of mine. He knew some people shooting a movie, and he had like no intentions of being an actor. Although I told him he was going to be. And they put him in this movie, and it ended up blowing up. And so like Paradigm called him, and he was on his way to college, and Paradigm like called him. If you guys don't know, this is an agency, and it's boutique, but it's pretty.
If it's boutique, it's a big boutique. It's a big agency.
It's a big agency. So they basically called him,
and they're great.
And so they called him and said, we want to sign you. And he calls me and he's like, what do I do? I'm about to go to college. And I was like, you strike while the iron is hot. You go. And he's been an actor since then. So he's never really had
What's your
another
friend's
job.
name?
I'm not telling. That I'm not telling.
Matt Damon.
It happens to be Matt Damon.
Yeah.
But I don't
that friend,
brag.
Barack Obama.
It's like me and Barack were hanging out with Matt, and it was ridiculous. No, I'm not going to say. But so he's never had another job.
So it's just Jenna's life you put on the table, really. Yours, you keep behind. Jenna's. Perfect. Lovely.
That's basically how it rolls around here. Jenna's, yours, anybody else who happens to anybody want to tweet me some private stuff.
Throw them under the bus. Whatevs.
Whatevs. Let's talk about her abdomen and her dating life and who she likes on Eureka all at once. Yeah, so how
back
young,
to Parrish.
Back to you.
Yes.
How young were you?
How young was I? I was
when you really started working.
When I started working as a person, I was I think 14, but that was like doing groundskeeping, and I worked. I was an assembly line worker for. I made light bulbs, and I worked shipping and receiving. I worked assembly line at a foam factory making bedding. I worked as a waiter. I worked as a teacher. I worked as a mover.
What did you teach?
I taught everything from physical education to English.
So how old were you, or do you actually, this is really, you don't have to answer me.
Sure, I will.
Do you, how old were you when you really started to work as an actor?
My first job was when I was 21, I think.
Okay.
And then I moved down here when I was 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you were still pretty young.
Yeah, I hit pretty young, but I'd been working for a long, long time.
Okay.
Sort of in the real world doing stuff,
doing real jobs.
Yeah, really
so
horrible jobs.
So you're a real person.
Yeah, graveyard shift, assembly line. If you haven't done it, it's special.
It's amazing. So are there moments sort of when you're on set where you're like...
Yeah, I want to go back to the assembly line.
No.
Yeah, there are.
Because here's the thing. I mean, you really, you have one of the better jobs in existence.
Yeah, it's
right?
a great job.
So, I mean, are there ever moments that I am really not talking about the show. I'm just going to grill Colin.
Yeah.
Are there ever moments that you question it, or is it just always crystal clear this is the right thing to do?
Never question. I'm not one to question. I mean, it's done. I've done so well by it that to question it would be ridiculous. And I've loved it. I absolutely loved the journey. There are definitely moments when when I'm grateful for it. we get to see all these places, and you'll be, in costume, standing on some bluff that you're shooting on, and it's just beautiful, just that you get to do that. I mean, I wanted to be, I didn't think it was possible, but I grew up watching television and sort of going, wow, that'd be really cool. Wonder what I'm going to do, but that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So the fact that my path led there, for this show, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm grateful as all hell.
And now that this is wrapping up, I mean, tell us a little bit about, before we totally wrap up, let's actually talk about the episode just a little bit.
Sure.
Because I think one of the things that I liked about it was, or that I thought was interesting, was with Henry and Grace.
Yeah.
And how she has had to confront so many different versions of him at this point, and that their trust level is going to be so depleted in her. And I'm wondering how in one episode they're going to kind of wrap up that relationship so that she's able to really be with him in the conclusion. You know what I mean? Because you're sort of set. You're with Allison. Carter's with Allison. Zane and Joe are pretty solid. Holly, that was a blip. That was a little bump on the road for them. And now she's the memory wipe. That's going to make it even more complicated. Obviously, we wonder where that's going to go. But they're the ones that I really thought, that's a real problem.
Yeah.
For a real relationship. How do you rebuild that trust? So what do you think?
Well, I think some of the metaphors of the show, because I know Jamie so well, would have to be sort of that work is never a problem. Work is just work. And you are who you are is the other thing. And there's a real romanticism to that and sort of a fatalistic approach to that sort of thing. And I think it's embodied in a couple different ways with the relationships on the show. With Joe and Tamby, Henry and Grace, I think they had to make peace a long time ago with the fact that their history was subordinate to their identity. She's meant to be with him. He's meant to be with her. Who they are is the primary. And I think that would probably help them get through this, because it's sort of something you can always fall back on. It's not the history that binds them together. It's their beings. So that's cool. And I think the same thing will go with Fargo and Holly, that they have to rebuild it, but that's just work. The more important thing is that they found each other.
Oh, that's kind of lovely, you guys. All right. I can't say anything better than what you just said about this episode. That was really amazing. And that's really beautiful. Jamie, he did good.
Jamie's good.
Wow. Yeah, we love Jamie. Well, that's the other thing. That's sort of what I was going to ask you, is that, several people from the show have been on here. We've had Jamie and Amy. And
Get Bergs. Get Amy Bergs back.
She's awesome. I love her.
Has she been? Get a bunch of the writers. Get the writers.
Yeah.
Come on, a writer show for the finale. Get all the writers.
We would love to. I mean, the person that I am in awe of course, is Deborah, because she's perhaps the most lovely human I've ever encountered.
She's probably the nicest human being on the planet. Yeah.
Really insane. Really insane.
All genuine. Yeah.
All genuine.
Sort of, yeah.
All just phenomenal. So I'd love to have her to come in if she's available too. But my point is, you don't really see that a lot. I mean, look, let's be real for a second. We understand this industry is great and it's wonderful, but you run into a lot of ego and you run into a lot of people that are confused about things. But it doesn't seem like the people involved in this show have been like that. Everybody's down to earth and really clear and really good at what they do and really happy to do it. And that is so rare to really see that. I mean, that's the truth. That's really not often that you're going to see that. So now that it's wrapped up, what are you sort of hoping to do in this next phase? I mean, what do you...
Well, I'd like to repeat the experience, which is probably the kiss of death. I mean, and maybe by saying that, I mean that, I have a standard, that I want to, if possible, stay within as much as you could possibly predict it. I mean, those personality traits are, people who jockey for a position and are very political. They're impossible to figure out right out of the gate, because if they were, those people wouldn't work. Yeah. It's the sort of thing that comes out after you're stuck in a submarine for, years and years. You go, oh, this is who you are. Oh, wow, this is going to get interesting. But I had the good fortune to work with a ton of really good people with a tone of show that I really enjoyed, that came from the tone that these people have. I mean, the tone of the show is the tone of the writers, who they are as people, and is the tone of the actors. We all sort of have the same feel about life, and that all comes from Jamie. He hired all of them, and he cast all of us. So, I mean, that you need to find someone like him again.
Well, do you think, I mean, listen, I think that's absolutely true. And I think in any job that I've ever had, it doesn't matter what industry it is, the tone of the organization comes from the top. And so you can tell, like, Jamie's so lovely and he's managed to amass this crew and this cast that's also equally wonderful. Would you be taking more agency perhaps and sort of like spearheading your own project and being that person?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do right now. And it's a funny thing because I'll have heat for X number of months, you know, maybe a year and a half at this point. If you really want to put it on the table, right? That's probably what it is. So I'm going to work as hard as I can next year and a half to sort of make intelligent decisions, after which, or towards the end of which, I'll have to sort of abandon that and just start saying yes to getting back on television and taking a gig to, you know, keep any heat that I have alive and stuff like that. So I feel like I bought myself some time and I'm going to use it to accomplish what you just said.
Right.
But if I can't achieve it, then I have to be realistic and get back in the trenches.
Well, that's a really pragmatic attitude, obviously, and I'm a believer in pragmatism, but at the same time, I do believe in choice also. You always have choices. And I don't know. I just don't. Anyway, we're doing predictions, so I'll predict for your life.
Done. What?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Wow.
Ooh. Well, you can't really make a prediction about
Why
the
not?
show. Well,
I
you
predict
can.
that Jen and the doctor are going to get married.
You do? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be funny?
It's going to be great.
Wouldn't that be the greatest sort of like wedding toast? Like, remember when I thought it was crazy, but now you're married. Amazing toast.
That's really good. Did you get it? Thank God it's being recorded. You can use that one later.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just, I cried.
Great. Thank you.
For you.
Thank you. I'm actually I'll predict for your life instead of for the show. I don't think that you're going to have to make that compromise. I really don't. I see that you're a capable enough person that you're going to be able to put something together organically that you will spearhead and it will work.
I'd like to. I mean, what I'm trying to do to get that done is to meet with showrunners and maybe find sort of a, you know, the kindred spirit would be the wrong word, but somebody who sort of feels the same way about stuff, and maybe meet someone who I really get along with and build from there. Because for me to be able to spearhead anything, I would need their clout.
Yeah.
I mean, so they would spearhead it. I'd need to sort of go under their umbrella to be a part of it, and I know that. So I'm trying to see if there's something there.
Okay, well, I wish you good luck with that, and I believe it will happen.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. You can, as you know, follow AfterBuzz TV on Twitter. You can follow Colin if you aren't already. You probably are, but where can they find you, Colin?
They can find me at Colin Ferg on Twitter. Is it Colin? Is that my Twitter handle? Yeah, it is.
Colin Ferg. It is your
I'm
Twitter
that good. That's right.
That is your Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is @JRossi, JROTHC. And make sure to tweet Colin and let him know what the show meant to you. Give him big props, emotionally, physically, spiritually.
We did our best without Jenna. We'll have her back next week.
Exactly. We're very excited about that for the finale. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Oh, pleasure. Thanks, guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
That's amazing.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only.
you later.
AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.